Guys, I'm back with another Modern Masters 3 draft. Sorry, I gotta do this. Sometimes the mouse gets stuck. Yeah, I started out really well in this format, got a lot of trophies, and then recently I've been struggling quite a lot, so I'm actually overall, I think, down on play points just because the prizes are so bad, but yeah, this format has been a very mixed bag for me, so it'll be interesting to see where we can go. I've really I really drafted like pretty much every kind of deck, but what I really like is like blue-black centered control with Dinrova Horror and stuff like that, having a really great late game. So we'll see if we can get into that, but I tend to draft pretty open in general. There's really like two archetypes in this format. It's multicolor control with Dinrova Horror and aggro, which is usually like tokens or sacrifice, either like red-black or green-white. And then all the other archetypes are kind of variations on those that go into maybe a few different colors. But yeah. If anybody has seen Mike Sigrist's article on Channel Fireball, that's my view on the format is pretty similar, although obviously it's definitely been informed by reading that article. I had been finding myself drafting a lot of Dinrova Horror control decks, but after reading that, it kind of solidified the idea that that is the premier archetype in the format for me. I'm also a little bit higher on tokens than Siggy is, but not too high. I mean, his opinion, does inform that. All right, so what do we have here? Niv Mizzet, I think we're just going to take. It's in sort of an awkward color combination, considering that shards are really the place to be in this format. So only really fits in Grixis. It doesn't fit in two shards, even though it's a two-color card. But I think we're just going to take it. It's just such a powerful card. Call of the Conclave is obviously great. Mist Meta Witch is definitely very good in the late game, but it's not quite as streamlined powerful as some of these other cards. Vythian Stinger is very good. So I'm between probably Niv Mizzet and Call of the Conclave here, and I just think that Niv Mizzet is going to lead us towards the multicolor control deck, and it's a really good, powerful late game creature in that type of deck, which is actually something that you're really looking for. So I think we're going to take Niv Mizzet. On the wheel, there's definitely some stuff in this pack. We could get this back if we go into Sacrifice. Grixis can also kind of be a graveyard sacrificey deck. But yeah, we're just going to take Niv Mizzet here, although we certainly are open to not playing it in our final deck, depending on what comes to us. Alright, what do we have now? Sidraxis Spectre is pretty much the card you want if you're going to go into the Grixis control/graveyard deck. Gruul War Chant is incredibly powerful as well, and we probably wouldn't be able to play it with Niv Mizzet, but it's probably the best card in the pack, I would say, on balance. Spectre, though, is pretty comparable, I think, in power level. Is it Guildgate? We would obviously love, considering, wanting to be in a big multicolor deck. I'm leaning towards Spectre here just to kind of go in that direction. I've always seen the Gruul aggro deck be very good. I'm always scared when I play against it, but I've never been able to make it work myself. And in that case, I think I'm probably going to shy away from it, just because if you're scared of a deck, it doesn't necessarily mean that the deck's good. I mean, you could still be scared and winning most of the time. So yeah, I think we're going to go with the Spectre here. Definitely this is moving us into a direction where we're going to want to pick up as many lands as we can. And yeah, let's see what else we have. Okay, so this pack is looking to push us in a little bit of a different direction, which I am open to doing. If we wanted to go in the same direction, we could take Spire Monitor, and that would lead us towards the blue-black flash deck, which is very, viable to kind of blend with this other sort of deck. Flicker Wisp is probably the best card in the pack. Urban Evolution is also going to be very good in a big multicolor deck, although the mana, the colors are sometimes hard to fit in. Green is usually not the color you want to be playing in these types of decks, even though you're totally fine playing a lot of colors. Obviously, a Guildgate is valuable to pick up at any point. Sylvan Ranger. This isn't particularly the best Guildgate, and this isn't particularly the best card being in green, which is actually sort of not the multicolor color in this format. I'm not really sure what to take here. I think I'm going to take Flicker Wisp just because it's the most powerful card in the pack, and we'll see where that takes us. But yeah, obviously this doesn't synergize with our other stuff, so it'll be interesting to figure out. I really like Falcon Wrath Noble. I think it's a great card. I'm also attracted to this Demirgo Gate just because that's the colors that you want to be multicolor with in this format, and it goes with like a Grixis deck that we might build. There's definitely some black-red sacrifice stuff going around, and that's a super powerful deck. So I'm keeping my eye on that. I don't necessarily know if I want to go in on it right now, but I could take the Noble to kind of leave that open as well. I think I might want to do that. That being said, the Guildgate would also go well if we ended up in more like a Grixis-y sacrifice deck. So I think I'm actually going to take the Guildgate just to stay open here. But this is a very close one. I'm not really sure what's the right pick. Okay, wow. There's tons of good stuff in this pack. Gaia's Anthem is obviously insane, but unless we went straight green-white with the Flicker Wisp and doing that stuff, I don't think we can play it. Necropolis is also amazing. Aristocrat would be great if we're in the sacrifice deck. It's one of the best cards in that deck. And Jailbreaker is definitely solid. I'll probably play Jailbreaker in any multicolor deck unless it's very, very good, and I don't have a need for it. But I think we're just going to take the Necropolis here, keep building out our Grixis mana, and we can really figure out what we want to do with that mana later, whether we want to be more black-red or blue-black. So yeah, we're just going to take the Necropolis. Okay. Here, a Tri-land, it's not the best Tri-land for us, but I could easily see taking it and then just kind of figuring out how to use the splash mana later. Tandem Lookout is fine, but not great in this kind of deck. Pilfer Plans would be fine, but they're easy to pick up. And then there's a few, mediocre stuff. Okay in Sacrifice, okay in like a white deck. But yeah, I think when in doubt, just take the land is going to be the optimal strategy here. Okay, so here we see some interesting stuff. Zur could definitely go well in like a crazy multicolor deck, although I don't love him. Grasp is totally fine in like a Grixis control graveyard deck. There's still a few things that would be very good for like the black-red sacrifice deck. So I think I might kind of want to start going into that deck, so I'm probably going to take the Dregscape Zombie here. I'm sort of in between like crazy 5-color and black-red sacrifice, and I think taking the zombie here is going to allow me to go into the sacrifice deck if I need to. Yeah, so we have a Traitorous Instinct. I think I'm going to take that over like the zombie. If I was trying to go 5-color, I would either take the Rotworm or the Crippling Chill, but I think Instinct is going to be... Instinct is surprisingly one of the best cards in the sacrifice deck, so I think we're going to take that. I could definitely see taking the zombie as well, but they're more replaceable, so yeah. Alright, we get a zombie. I think I'll take that over the Torch Runner. We're looking basically to be Grixis Sacrifice now, which is fine. I know how to draft that deck. You can definitely do some interesting things. Black-red is probably slightly better, but we want to play this Niv Mizzet, and we already have 2 blue fixing spells. So we're sort of invested in that direction. Although, I could see us ending up in black-red if we just don't get more blue cards. So yeah, we'll take the zombie. And Scourge Devil's a fine pickup here. It's a little better in like the Graveyard Grixis deck instead of the black-red sacrifice deck, although it's decent in both. I'm going to take that over Grasp just because we're looking to be more of a black-red based, going more of a black-red based route. Here, I don't think Mortician Beetle is bad even in the sacrifice deck, so I'm just going to take the Guildgate for potential future splashing. This deck can also really like splashing green, so we're going to take Spike Jester here, kind of going down in the same direction. Golgara Germination I haven't actually seen or been impressed by, and the Aristocrat came back, so that's a big sign here that the black-red deck is open, so we're going to take that. Delirium Skeins might be okay. Grasp came back. So yeah, we're basically looking at black-red, probably splashing / playing blue, and potentially we have a green splash open to us if we want, if we see something good like a Broodmate Dragon or, a Sprouting Thronax or something like that. So yeah, going into the next pack, we see a Goblin Guide, which is obviously an incredibly good aggressive card. I'm inclined to take that. We would obviously love something like a Rakdos Guildgate, but Goblin Guide is very, very powerful, especially if you can hit it on turn 1. It just gets in so much damage. And considering how good the decks are in this format, being able to play more like a constructed aggro deck is pretty important. So I'm leaning towards the Goblin Guide. I could easily see it being Guildgate as the right pick. There's also Is It Guildgate or Google Guildgate. There's a lot of good green cards in this pack, but we're really not quite in that direction yet. I'm seeing the blue. I haven't seen like much blue. There have been like a few Crippling Chills and stuff, but it could be that blue isn't very open. We're just going to have to abandon this Niv Mizzet, which would be fine, and maybe go more of a Jund or just black-red route. I'm cool with that, but obviously we'd like to play Niv Mizzet if possible, so we're slightly biased towards blue. But yeah, I think just going with the Goblin Guide is going to be the best play here. Alright, so we have a Scalding Tarn, which is great fixing for Grixis. We also have Chandra's Outrage, which is just a very good removal spell. I've been very impressed by it. It seems more like an average removal spell, but in this kind of color combination, the 2 damage is actually huge. So I might actually lean towards taking that, especially considering that we're probably looking to be more straight black-red, maybe splashing the Spectre, and having Niv Mizzet in the board. I'm definitely looking to wheel this Scorched Rusalka, even the Entomber Exarch if we can get it, although I don't think we will. But yeah, I think I'm going to take the Chandra's Outrage here. It's a very, very good card. It overperforms a lot in this kind of deck. We'll take Traitor's Instinct, I think, hopefully wheeling this Dregscape zombie. There's a lot of good Bant cards, which is kind of depressing. But the packs are being passed the other way, so that does make a little bit of sense. We could also get back this Torch Runner, which we would play. It's not a super impressive card in the Sacrifice deck, but it's playable, certainly. We could also wheel the Instinct, but I don't want to take the risk. Okay, here we have another Dregscape zombie, or we can just take a Dimir Guildgate. I think I'm going to take the Guildgate because the zombie will wheel. I wouldn't like really having 2 Scourge Devils, although we'll probably take it if it's the only like sacrifice card in the pack. I'm probably going to take Guildgate over Sanctum because I really don't see us playing white, and if we pick up Ogre Jailbreakers, I will definitely want the Guildgate. That might seem like a very weird pick, but I think it's actually correct, just what my instincts tell me. This deck rarely, if ever, plays white. I mean, white, in terms of like how the color power works in this format, it's just the furthest away from the black-red sacrifice deck. So we're going to take the Guildgate here. Okay, we have a Spike Jester. I think I'll take that. Hopefully the Rusalka wheels. The Spike Jester actually might be more likely to wheel, so we might want to take the Rusalka, especially considering we have 2 of these Traitor's Instincts. Jailbreaker is fine, but we're not going to prioritize that over really cheap, good, aggressive creatures or sacrifice outlets. So I actually think I'm going to take the Rusalka here. Spike Jester has been it's obviously a good card, but there's a lot of 1-toughness guys in the format and stuff, and having a sack outlet is very valuable. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Rusalka here and hope to wheel the Jester. Okay, Carnage Gladiator is one of the best cards for this deck. It's just incredibly good. In a deck that's about chipping away at your opponent's life total 1 by 1, the blocking clause is very important. We would take Savage Lands, we would take Orville Maka, we'd take a Grixis Slave Driver, although 6 is very expensive for this kind of deck. We would even take a Burning Tree Emissary, even though we're not likely going to be in green. It could still be a decent card for us. But yeah, the Gladiator's, I think, the clear pick. Scourge Cultist is a slow sack outlet, but it's a powerful one. I'm going to take that over the Ogre Jailbreaker just because it's on theme. Yeah, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. We're just going to take that. Okay, Bone Splinters is sort of a sack outlet. I think we're going to take that here. I'm not impressed with Handweir Lancer or with Battle Rattle Shaman or with Death Shadow. Shadow's more like a controlling card. Our curve is looking a little bit high, but I know that we passed at least 2 Dregscape zombies in the beginning of this pack, and those should come around, so I'm not too worried about that. And plus Bone Splinters works really well with those types of things. Okay, so here we could take a Gruul Guildgate, a Handweir Lancer, or a Recover. Lancer is actually a fine aggressive creature, although it's not exactly a sacrifice deck creature. I don't like Recover. You kind of have limited spell slots in this kind of deck. You basically just need removal, Traitor's Instincts, which are sort of removal, and creatures. So I'm going to take the Guildgate just for potential splashing, although I could see the pick being Handweir Lancer. Alright, these Dregscape zombies are not coming around, which is a little bit worrying. I'm going to take Night Terrors here. It's a good card to port in against a control deck. I don't want to play 2 Scourge Devils. Alright, 1 zombie came around. We're going to take that over a Torch Runner just because it's a 2-drop. and it's, I think, comparable power level. Crazy that Call of the Conclave came around. I'm guessing people have just kind of abandoned the token deck in the format, which I'm noting. I mean, I could see myself attempting to draft that more aggressively just because no one's really on it anymore. Spike Jester came back. So yeah, it looks like we're the only drafter in black-red, which is good. I'm going to take the Maka. I think it's better than the Burning Tree because we're not green-red and we don't really have any 2-drops to play with it. We would only play like something like these, which we would hope to play on turn 1 anyway. So we could splash this Rotworm, we could play this Maka, but we're looking to be in pretty good shape so far. Yeah, I mean, we've got, a bunch of 2-drops. We're just going to take this Vampire Nighthawk, just the most powerful card in the pack in our colors. Resto is obviously great, so if we had taken the Arcane Sanctum, maybe, but even then I don't really think we would have wanted to play that. Yeah, pretty straightforward. But drafting an aggressive deck, you take, the creatures and the removal and stuff like that. Obviously, there's a little bit more synergy here with all the sacrifice outlets and stuff like that, but yeah, that doesn't mean Vampire Nighthawk is not still great. Yeah, I guess what I'm looking for out of this last pack is maybe a little bit more sacrifice synergy. Maybe, I don't know, we're pretty balanced so far. Maybe just a little bit more card quality. Like, Dregscape Zombie is fine, but it's not great. So this is actually kind of exactly what we're looking for in the Nighthawk. And just a little bit better curve. We have a lot of 4s, and a lot of the card quality comes at 4, so that's going to be maybe a little bit of a problem for us. But yeah, overall we're looking very good, I think. Okay, we have enough fixing to play 2 Styraxis Spectre, so I'm just going to take that. It's just an incredibly powerful card. I've had more success with just the straight black-red versions of the deck, but I think Spectre is good enough, and we're basically just black-red, even if we do have a little bit of fixing for the Spectre. Untapped lands are very important, but still, I think the card quality here is just overpowers it. And plus, we're going to get back, I think, our choice of Rusalka and Zombie on the wheel, so I'm fine with just taking the Spectre here. It's basically free. So yeah, we're going to take it. And let's see, what else do we have? We have Gnawing Zombie. Arcane Sanctum could be a decent fixer for us, especially because we just picked up another Spectre. Thunderous Wrath is fine, but not great. It's reach, but it's expensive. Gnawing Zombie will probably come back, so we'll Hammer Lancer. So I think I'm just going to take the fixing here. We're like a little bit worried about playables, but then again, we do have a few decent playables in our sideboard, so that's going to be fine. We haven't seen any green cards that are powerful enough to try to splash, so yeah, I don't think that's going to be a concern for us. Those powerful splash cards tend to show up in the beginning of the pack rather than later on, so I don't think we're going to be splashing green here. But yeah, we'll take the Sanctum, and we'll have not much of a problem, I don't think, picking up playables towards the end. Okay, Powerwell Shaman is great in this kind of deck, but so is Falconwrath Noble. I think the Noble is going to be better for us. Yeah, it sucks to pass this Shaman. I mean, these are both like incredibly high quality cards that also work very well with our plan. Noble is a bit worse just because of all the 4-drops we have, but I think it's a significant bump above the Shaman in terms of power level and just doing what our deck wants to do. So I'm going to take that. Zombie will probably wheel. Maybe Bone Splinters too, so we might have a choice there. I don't think this will wheel, but yeah, I strongly don't think it will, actually. So yeah. Alright, we've got our choice of Spike Jester or Entomber Exarch. Entomber is another 4, but Jester is a lot more likely to wheel. So I think we're going to take the Entomber. I think we're fine playing all these 4s. The Trader's Instincts are more like 6s or 5s anyway. And Entomber is a very powerful card, even if it's not super aggressive. Yeah, I'm anticipating at least one Dregscape and a Spike Jester to wheel, so we're fine with that. Spike Jester hasn't been that impressive for me. It's been fine, but I think especially with like the removal and stealing stuff that we have, it'll be better than it has been. Okay, Gnawing Zombie or Scorch Rusalka. I think Rusalka is just a minorly better version of Gnawing Zombie. You don't really care about gaining life in this deck. If you're trying to gain life, you're probably not in a good position. So yeah, we're just going to take the Rusalka. 1-3 is obviously a better body than 1-1, but curving on 1 into 2 is pretty good in this deck. So we're going to take the Rasaka. Plus the ability is just cheaper to activate, which is huge. There's not much for us in this pack. I don't think I even want to play Mortician Beetle, although, you know, this deck could certainly play something like that. We don't actually have a huge amount of creatures to sacrifice. It's really these zombies, as opposed to, like, we don't have something like Dragon Fodder. We don't have a lot of those. But then again, there's not really anything else that we would want. Burning Tree doesn't really work, even though we're hyper-aggressive and could theoretically cast it on turn 2. And the Gilgate doesn't really do anything for us, so I'm just going to take the Mortician Beetle. Alright, we will play a Torch Runner, presumably, although we won't have to if we get enough playables, so I'm just going to take that. Ground Assault is a splashable green card, so we can keep that in mind. I don't want to take Madcap Skills, it's just too risky. This format is so full of removal. We have another interesting choice between a third Scorch Rasaka or a Gnawing Zombie. I think Rasaka is better enough that we're just going to take it here. It makes Trader's Instinct into a 5 instead of a 6, so I think that's important enough that we're just going to do that. Hammer Lancer will probably play, but I don't love it. And wow, the Pyrowild Shaman came back, so that's great for us. We're not going to play the Lancer, I'm guessing that means. Battle Rattle is a 4. I don't really want to take Giant Baiting, although maybe it's correct. We have 3 Scorch Rasaka, so yeah, I'm going to take Giant Baiting. We probably don't want to play it, but still. Yeah, we're looking for a Spike Jester to come back, I believe. But other than that, I think this is about it. Okay, so yeah, I think the Spike Jester we had already seen, actually. So yeah, this is probably pretty close to our final list, although I think I might make a few changes here. Let's see. So we have 27 minus 4 is 23. So this is the correct number. I believe we want 17 lands just because we have all these 4s. Now the question is, what are our worst cards? I think our worst cards are probably something like Scourge Devil, and yeah, that's basically it. I mean, all these other cards, I think I'm pretty sure I want to keep in. The 3 Dregscape Zombies goes really well to give us enough creatures to sacrifice to things, and we've got a pretty good aggressive curve. I am not super comfortable playing 3 Scorch Rasaka, but I think we have enough to do with them that it will be fine, although I could see cutting 1. So these are the 2 cards we're considering cutting. What do we have in the board? We have potential Ground Assault or Rotworm on a splash, but I don't think those are good enough to warrant making our mana even worse. We could play a Torch Runner, we could play a Lancer, we could play a Maka, or we could play Giant Baiting. Now the question is whether any of these are better than these 2 cards that are here. Scourge Devil doesn't really do a whole lot, considering that that we don't really build out a big board, but it's a very good card to have like in the graveyard. So I'm not eager to cut it, although I think Giant Baiting might be slightly better. We do have a lot of black creatures though. I think this is just going to be the list we want to run with. I could see Henweir Lancer coming in. We've got, you know, Spike Jesters, but I think we can board that in an aggressive matchup without much removal against something like tokens or something like that. So yeah, I think this will be the deck. Let's just check the mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue sources should be plenty. I could see cutting the island here, so let's see how many other sources we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is not enough red sources. So we'll see if we have enough black to maybe cut one, or we will just cut the island for a mountain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is definitely enough black sources. We could probably cut one. But I think with 2 Sidraxis Spectre, 4 sources should be enough. I'm just going to cut the island for a mountain. And so that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red sources. I probably want 9 red sources, and this is 10, so I think we want 9, 9, 4 is what we're going to go with. I think that's going to be the best strategy. We definitely have a lot of black, but we also definitely have a lot of red, so I'm fine with this. 9, 9, 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1, 2, 3, 4. We want untapped red on turn 1, but we don't necessarily need, if we have a hand without one of these red 1-drops, we don't necessarily need black on turn 1, just on turn 2. So having 4 of our black sources coming into play tapped, I think, is going to be okay. So yeah, here's the deck, and I will see you guys in round 1.